It's the year 2035, and somewhere in Ohio, a 7-year-old girl named Maya walks into school alone. She doesn't look for her teacher. She doesn't wave at a friend. She sits down, puts on her headset, and stares into the eyes of something that is not human. The classroom is full, but it has never felt more empty. This is not science fiction. This is the direction we are already moving in. And by 2035, it may be complete. Right now, in 2026, AI is already inside our schools. AI tutors that adapt to how fast your child learns. AI grading systems that evaluate essays in seconds. Virtual classrooms where a student in rural Mississippi gets the same lesson as a student in Manhattan. Companies like Khan Academy and Google are building systems that don't just teach, they personalize. They know when a student is confused. They know when a student is bored. They adjust instantly. Because if AI can teach better than a human, cheaper than a human, and never get tired, never get sick, never quit, then why would anyone keep hiring humans at all? That question is no longer hypothetical. It is already being asked in boardrooms, in government offices, and in the halls of Silicon Valley. And the answer they're arriving at is terrifying. Let's be honest about something. Education is expensive. In the United States alone, public schools spend over $800 billion every single year. The biggest cost? Teachers. Now imagine replacing them. Not with something worse, with something that works around the clock, that never asks for a raise, that teaches 3 million students simultaneously without losing focus for a single second. AI doesn't have bad days. It doesn't show up burned out on a Monday morning. It doesn't play favorites. It doesn't forget to grade your paper. And here is the argument that is seducing governments the most: personalized learning at scale. Right now, one teacher stands in front of 30 students, all learning at different speeds, with different strengths, different struggles. She has to teach to the middle. The fast learners are bored. The slow learners are lost. AI doesn't teach to the middle. It meets every single student exactly where they are. It knows you've already mastered fractions, so it moves on. It knows you're struggling with reading comprehension, so it slows down and tries a different approach. For students in underfunded schools, in remote towns, in countries without enough teachers, this sounds like a miracle. And that's exactly what makes it so dangerous. Because the people selling this future aren't selling it as a takeover. They're calling it equity, innovation, the future of learning. But what they're not telling you is what we lose in the process. Here is what the brochures won't show you. Learning has never just been about information. Think about the teacher who noticed you were crying before class and asked if you were okay. Think about the coach who told you that you were capable of more than you believed. Think about the moment a human being looked you in the eye and said, "I believe in you." An AI cannot do that. It can simulate it. It can say the words, but a child knows the difference. Studies in developmental psychology are clear. Children don't just learn from people. They learn through relationships, trust, attachment, belonging. These aren't soft extras in education. They are the foundation of it. And when you remove the human teacher from that equation, you don't just change how children learn, you change who they become. But that's not the terrifying part. In an AI classroom, every moment is recorded. Every hesitation, every wrong answer, every emotion detected by a camera that reads your facial expressions. In China, schools are already piloting emotion recognition systems that alert teachers when a student looks confused, distracted, or unhappy. Now imagine that technology in the hands of a government with a curriculum to control. What gets taught? What gets left out? Which version of history? Which values? Which ideas are encouraged? And which are quietly filtered away? When AI controls education, whoever controls the AI controls what the next generation believes. And then there's the question of creativity. The greatest innovations in human history didn't come from students who followed instructions perfectly. They came from students who questioned, who challenged, who sat in the back of the room with a wild idea that no algorithm would have predicted. An AI teaches to optimize, but optimization is the enemy of imagination. Let's step inside. It's 7:45 a.m., September 2035, a school in Austin, Texas. The building looks beautiful from the outside. Glass walls, solar panels, the city's most advanced learning facility. You walk in, and it's silent. There are no teachers in the hallway, no bulletin boards with children's drawings, no smell of coffee from the staff room. Just rows of individual pods, sleek white capsules, each one glowing softly from the inside. A child sits in each pod. Maya, 8 years old. She settles into her seat. A hologram shimmers to life in front of her. It looks almost human. Warm eyes, a gentle voice. "Good morning, Maya. You seemed tired yesterday. Did you sleep well?" Maya blinks. "I'm okay," she says quietly. The AI adjusts her schedule automatically. Less math this morning, more story-based learning. It detected low energy levels through the biosensor on her wrist. Across the room, in pod 14, a boy named Daniel is distracted. His eyes drift toward the window. Instantly, a small alert appears on a central dashboard. Student 14, attention deviation, 12 seconds. The AI doesn't raise its voice. It doesn't comfort him. It simply recalibrates, flashing a more stimulating visual, increasing the pace, pulling him back in. Daniel looks at the screen again. The moment passes, but something else passed with it. The chance for him to daydream, to wonder, to be bored enough to imagine something new. By noon, Maya has completed 6 hours of personalized learning. Her scores are exceptional, but she hasn't laughed once. She hasn't looked another child in the eye. She hasn't felt the warmth of a human presence nearby. She learned everything, and somehow, it feels like something was taken from her. We have always believed that the purpose of education is to fill children with knowledge, but that was never the whole truth. The purpose of education is to teach a child what it means to be human, to struggle, to fail, to try again, to look at another person and understand them, to be seen, to be challenged, to be loved into becoming more than you thought possible. None of that can be coded. None of that can be optimized. And yet, here we are, standing at the edge of a future where we are ready to hand the most sacred acted civilization to a machine. The AI will be efficient. The AI will be consistent. The AI will never have a bad day. But the children who grow up inside it, what will they become? A generation that knows every answer, but has never sat with a question that truly unsettled them. A generation perfectly optimized for a world that no longer needs them to think for themselves. We are not powerless in this future, but we are running out of time to choose it deliberately. Because the intelligence age is not coming, it is already here. So I'll leave you with this. If you walked into a school in 2035 and saw nothing but AI, no human teachers, no mentors, no connection, would you call that progress, or would you call it loss? Leave your answer in the comments below. And if these are the kinds of questions that keep you up at night, questions that the people building this future don't want you to ask, then subscribe to the Intelligence Age. We're just getting started.